Okay, what's up? You're going to need your list of square roots for this next assignment. Okay. Now, a little introduction. If you haven't taken geometry and you're a sophomore, you need to listen to this because this is going to be new to you. Okay. The directions are to simplify the square root. Okay. The square root of 32. This is not, here's what you don't do. Second square root 32. Oh, sorry. Second square root 32. That is not how you simplify. Okay? That's evaluating. Here's how you simplify a square root. Okay? Put a division sign after your 32. What you're going to do is take a calculator if need be, and first off, look at the numbers under the square root. Okay? 32 falls in between which two numbers? It'd be 25 and 36. So I start with 32, and I'm going to start above 36. Okay, the number's higher than 32, I discard that. Okay, I'm not looking at those. Then I start dividing. I take 32 divided by 25. That's a decimal, that won't work. Then I go 32 divided by 16. That's the next number up. Okay, that worked. So once you get it to divide by something evenly, you're going to rewrite it square root times square root, a product of two square roots. And in those square roots, you're going to put the number you divided by and then the answer you got in that order. Now, we replace the square root of 16 with its equivalent, which is 4. So you cross that out, put 4. So the answer is 4 whole with a square root 2. Okay? That's how you simplify that. So again, and I'm going to go over a few more. Square root of 75. Okay, so 75, you look on here, 75 is not here. Okay, so I need to divide into it. So I start, 75 falls between 64 and 100, so I'd start at 64. Decimal. Now take 75 again, divide it by 49. Decimal. 75 divided by 36 is a decimal. Divide by 25. Okay, that worked. So once I get something to work, I write square root times square root, and I replace 75 with 25, 3. 25 times 3. You're essentially breaking that square root up into two separate with a times. Okay. Now, this one we replace because the square root of 25 has an equivalency of an integer, a whole number. It's 5. So the answer is 5 square root 3. Okay, next one. I'm going to take the square root of 7. Okay, 7 is not a perfect square. Okay, so it needs to be divided. But the 7 falls between 4 and 9, but 7 isn't divisible by 4. Okay, that's a decimal. So then what we do is we simply circle it. It's a prime square root is what it's called. Okay, it can't be divided by anything on this list. Okay, then the square root of 100. Now we're not going to be dividing because 100 is on this list. There's 100 right there. It already has its equivalency. That's 10. Okay, so it's a little background on how that's going to go. Now here's why you need to know that. Because in this part here, you're going to be solving equations for x. Okay, or solving equations. Yeah, I think it's always x. Okay, so we have the first problem: 3x to the power of 2 plus 5 equals 41. Now there are two solutions, but we're not going to be doing the factoring boxes because this is an A, this is a C, and that's another C. There's no B's in the problem, okay? So when you have A's and C's and you need to solve the equations, you're not going to factor. You're simply going to get the x squared by itself. So over here you got a times 3 of plus 5. So we're going to minus 5 first. That gives me 36. Then we divide by our 3, and that's equal to 12. Then what number to the second power is 6? Well, it's not 6 either, okay? So what you do is you cross out the second power, and then you do the inverse operation, which is a square root. The inverse operation, like the inverse of plus is minus, the inverse of times is divide. The inverse of a second power is a square root. But you need to actually simplify the square root, not just plug it into your calculator. First off, is 12 on this list? No, it is not, okay? So I put divided by. So I take 12, 9 would be the first number, shorter. That doesn't work, but 4 does. So I replace this in two quotients, 4, 3. You're replacing the square root of 12 with the square root of 4 times the square root of 3. The reason we do that, because the square root of 4 has the equivalence of a whole number, which is 2. Now that is what you write as your solution, 2 square root 3. And you're like, well, what's my second answer? Well, the other answer is negative 2 square root of 3, okay? Because anytime you square root a number, here I'm going to make something up here, square root of 49, that is either positive 7 or negative 7, okay? And the reason why is because 7 times 7 is 49, but so is negative 7 times negative 7. That's also 49, okay? So anytime I square root, it can be the positive or the negative. Okay, next problem, negative 6x to the second power plus 2 equals negative 118. So what kind of a quadratic equation do we have here? We have A, C, and C. So when B is not in the problem, I'm not going to factor, okay? I'm just going to make a wall on the side of the x and get the x squared by itself. So it's negative 120, and then divide by your negative 6, and that is going to be 20, positive 20. Then we find the square root of 20, okay? Now 20 isn't a perfect square root, so we again apply the division, okay? So 20, okay? 20, is it divisible by 16? Because it's not going to be divisible by any of the numbers higher than it. Nope. Okay, is 20 going to be divisible by 9? Nope. Is it going to be divisible by 4? Yep. So you're able to divide it by 4 and you got an answer of 5. Now the reason we do that is because the square root of 4 is replaced with its equivalence of 2. So x equals, remember the square root could be positive or negative, and 2 square root 5. So down here you put 2 square root 5, negative 2 square root 5. Okay, that's how that's written. Now you're like, what's the point of writing it in a square root? Because it gives you an exact answer. Because watch if I plug that in for x. So negative 6 parentheses 2 second square root 5. Okay, I'll close it twice, raise it to the second, plus 2, negative 118. Okay, so that's why, see, if you round a decimal, you don't get that equivalency. And then negative 6 times negative 2 square root 5. You close this square root, and then you close the substitution. Plus 2. Whoa, I did that wrong. Okay. So negative 6 parentheses negative 2 square root 5 raised to the second power plus 2 negative 118. Okay. So that's why those are simplified, so they can be plugged into the equation. Okay, next one. Okay, we have 2x squared of 100. 2x squared equals the square root of 100. So there are two answers, okay? That's an A, that's a C. So with AC, we get the x squared by itself. So we just need to divide by 2 on this one. That gives me 50. Now I apply the square root then to the 50. Now 50 isn't a perfect square root, so I start dividing. So 50 is it divisible by 49? No. How about 36? No. How about 25? Yup. So then I make 2 square roots and I write 25 and 2. So I replace the square root of 25 with its equivalence, which is 5. So x ends up being equal to plus or minus 5 square root 2. So 5 square root 2 and negative 5 square root 2. Okay, next one. X to the second power equals 84. Okay, so we have A and C. So again, we can ditch the 1. We don't need to divide by that. Okay, and then you find the square root of 84. 84 is not a perfect square, so you put divided by, and you're attempting to rewrite that as a product of two square roots, one of which is a perfect square. So 84 divided by 64, nope. Divided by 49, nope. Divided by 36, nope. Divided by 25, nope. Divided by 16, nope. 9, nope. 4, finally I got it. Okay, so I rewrite it, and I want it in this order, 4 and 21. Because 4 times 21 is 84. So we replace that with its equivalence of 2, okay? Then x ends up equal to plus or minus 2 square root 21. Okay, starting today, anytime you apply a square root, it could be the positive or the negative. All right. Okay, we got negative 3x to the second equals negative 213. So there are two answers. So you got A and C. So again, A and C, no factoring. We solve for x squared like we would for x. We divide by negative 3, and that's 71. Then we square root 71. Now 71, obviously not a perfect square, so we see what it's divisible by. 64, nope. 49, nope. 36, nope. 25, nope. 16, nope. 9, nope. Okay, so it's not divisible by anything, so this is the answer. Plus or minus, you keep the 71 in its square root. Okay? So, square root 71, negative square root 71. You have to have the square root there. Okay? Alright, next problem. X to the power of 2 minus 10 equals 25. So there are two answers to this problem. Okay, so you have the A and then two C's. Those are both the C's. So with all A's and C's, I get the x squared by itself. I add 10 to each side to make 35. You can take out the 1. Then we apply the square root to the 35. Okay. Okay, so 35. Doubt it's divisible by 25. 16, nope. 9, nope. 4, nope. Okay, so again, that will just remain the square root. Okay. Again, divide by, you can't find anything divided by, so it just remains the same. So square root 35, and then the same answer with a negative in front of the square root, not inside of it. Okay. It goes in front, it does not go inside. Okay, my next problem. X to the power of 2 divided by 20 plus 8 equals 15. Okay. So there are two answers here. This is an A. Don't put a 1 when it's divided by 20. And this is a C. Okay, and that's another C. So we're going to minus C8. When it's being divided, don't put a 1 there. Okay. X to the second divided by 20 equals 7. Then when you're dividing, you times by 20 now, okay? And that is 140. So I apply the square root. Just write plus minus down there, positive, negative, and then go up here and divide. 140. It's 140, not 40. So I'd start with 121, nope. 100, nope. It was 1.4, by the way. Okay, 81. Butterfingers here, nope. 64, nope. 49, nope. 36, nope. 25, nope. 16, nope. 9, nope. 4, aha. Okay, so I can rewrite that as 4 and 35. So that's a 2. So 2 square root 35. And the same thing with a negative in front of the answer. Okay. All right, next one. Watch out for this one. Two answers. Okay. Again, that's an A. You got two C's, so you don't factor to solve. So that's 4. Okay, and then you times 25 now. X is second equals 100. So square root, X would be positive or negative. Well, 100's on the list, okay? So don't divide. You just put 10, and I'm going to put an answer. When the number's actually on the list, you need to make this note. Put square root is gone. So down here we don't put any square roots, we just put 10 and negative 10. Okay, square root's gone. When the square root is actually a perfect square root, it vanishes, it's gone. I don't want to see square root over 10. A lot of people do that. No, that's why I just wrote that. When that's on the list, write the answer, write down that the square root's gone so you don't do something dumb like put 10 in the square root in your answers. That is wrong. Okay. Now, here's part 2. This 1 through 8, that's what you're doing on the assignment. Now, 9 and 10, okay, we did this in Algebra 1, okay. These are new kinds of quadratic equations, okay. 7 times x minus 4 to the second minus 18 equals 10. Now, there are two answers, but it's not an ABC problem. It's an A, H, K problem. Don't label the 10. This is how you solve for x in an AHK, okay? You ready? You're going to make a table over here. You're going to make two equations, kind of like an absolute value. Now you're going to put the inside x minus 4 equals. Then what I usually do is I replace that parentheses with an h, okay? The whole thing with h, and put it to the second power. Now it's going to have a 7 in front, a minus 18 behind it equals 10. Now just solve for h, okay, like you just got done doing. So that's going to be 28. Divide by 7. And then find the square root of 4. Positive, negative. 4 is on the list, it's 2. So square root, gone. Square root is gone. So I just put 2. But those aren't your answers for here. You got to put now the 2's here, okay? And also another thing, you cannot distribute the 7, okay? Because the parentheses is to the second power, then your distribution is blocked, okay? You cannot distribute into a parentheses when the parentheses is raised to a power, okay? That is not going to work. So just go AHK, replace the whole parentheses with H, but remember to make your table because x minus 4 goes away. So x minus 4 is what H originally was, so I just add 4, I get 6. Negative 6 is not the other answer because now it's negative 2 plus 4, that's 2. Okay, next problem. 4 quantity x minus 1 to the second equals 100. Okay, so that's A, the whole parentheses H, there is no K, and that's fine. Okay, K would be 0, but I'm not going to add it. So I make a table, and we're going to replace x minus 1. We're going to put what's in parentheses here. Then we're going to replace that parentheses with just an h variable. It's going to have a coefficient of 4, and then it's to the second power, and it's going to equal 100. So we'll divide by 4, and that equals 25. So the square root of 25 is 5. Remember, it's plus or minus 5, though. and the square root's gone because 25 is over here. So I don't want to see a square root anymore. When the number pops up on the list, no square roots. Not here, not here. 5, negative 5. So plus 1, I get 6. Plus 1, I get negative 4. So that's how you solve it for the HK. It's really pretty easy. You just got to remember how to do it. When you're solving quadratic equations, it's very important to put your labels. Okay, next we got 6 times x plus 4 to the second plus 2 equals 26. So it's a quadratic equation. It's just with the parentheses. Do not distribute the 6, okay? That second power means you can't distribute. The only way you could distribute is if you wrote x plus 4 out twice, so it said 6. Don't write this down, but it's 6 times x plus 4 times x plus 4, and then you'd have to distribute, then FOIL. Why would you do that? Okay, that's going to take a heck of a lot longer. So that's A. The entire parentheses is known as H, and then that's K. Okay, so the whole H parentheses is x plus 4. You write that on each side, similar to how you would on an absolute value equation. Now, just remove x plus 4, replace it with h, it's to the second power. Now, a is a 6, and then plus 2 equals 26. So then I will subtract 2 to get 24. Then I will divide by 6 to get 4. And the square root of 4, that's on the list, so h equals plus minus, no more square root, okay? I just put 2. So don't put those answers here. You have to go up on your table and solve it. So minus 4, that's going to be negative 2. Then minus 4 from negative 2 is going to be negative 6. Okay, last problem. Negative 7, okay, quantity x minus 4 to the second, so you can't distribute when it's to the second like that. Minus 5 equals negative 33. Okay, so x has 2 answers. So A, this whole expression is h, and then k. Okay, so we're going to remove the x minus 4, but we have to account for it with our table. So h to the second with negative 7 in front, minus 5 equals negative 33. Then I add 5, and that takes that side to negative 28. Then I divide each side by negative 7, that takes me to 4. Then I apply the square root. Okay, I'm not going to be dividing because the square root of 4 is here, it's 2, so no more square root. I just put 2. So 2, negative 2. So we add 4, that would give me 6 for my first answer. Then I add 4 to negative 2, and that would give me 2 for my second. Okay, that's it.